All right, Melanie, Carsten. So we're gonna move on to B in our template, your second workout, which we did as well. We touched on two different workouts, and hopefully I didn't overwhelm you guys. I kind of wanted to introduce you to as much as I can in the short period of time we had available to us. Well, let's dive right in. So again, the same idea applies, right? Today we're gonna do a squat. We're gonna do that incline dumbbell bench press, so more of a vertical press. We're gonna do your TRX row, but this time we're gonna do what I call a high row, which works more of your upper back and the back of your shoulders versus the low row, which gets more of your lats. The other thing we're gonna do is we're gonna do a TRX lunge, which you can do with your bands as well. And again, there's many variations to this. You don't necessarily have to use the TRX. It's a great place to start, but you can make it more challenging with dumbbells and things like that. All right, well, hey, let's dive on in. So the first thing we're gonna do is we're gonna do your squat, or what often is referred to as a goblet squat. Goblet because, right, you hold the kettlebell, or dumbbell in this case, like a big, huge goblet. Now, I like to use benches as a guide because they're a great way, especially if you're, a lot of times, especially if you have any back or hip issues, it sometimes can be challenging to figure out how far to go and what path to go in. So if you can starting off, just use the bench, right? And sit back on that bench, right? We're just gonna sit back on that bench, inhaling down, exhale as you stand. Now as that gets easy, what we can do is just tap without putting weight on the bench. Now notice, as opposed to the deadlift, where I set my hips back, my hips moved in a horizontal plane, now I want my hips to move more in a vertical plane. And I do that by allowing my knees to bend more. So I'm letting my knees release forward and out as I drop my hips down. All right. On to number two. Number two, our press for today, or push, is an incline dumbbell chest press. Now I think I had you up to this, the fifth setting. So a pretty steep incline, just past 45, maybe about a 30-degree decline. We're gonna take those dumbbells, right? Press them up. Press to the floor, arch in the back. Get the shoulder blades nice and flush against that upper bench. What tends to happen is we tend to go here, and we tend to put a lot of stress and pressure on the front of that shoulder joint. If you press to the floor, you arch in the back, you lift through the chest, we're gonna start to work, and you can see it, you're gonna start to work more of the upper chest fibers. If I let that collapse, it's gonna all be front of the shoulder. And that's how we tend to kind of tear out or wear out the front of that shoulder. So again, press through the floor, arch in the back, lift through the chest, and try to get those shoulder blades nice and flush against that the back of the bench. So again, from here, press on up, inhale, lower down, exhale, press up, inhale, lower down, exhale, press up. Now notice as I lower down, I'm not going out to the side. I'm letting those elbows come in a little. So just like with your bench press, right? We have about 60 degrees, right? We're letting them come in. And that's gonna take pressure off the shoulder. The other thing I'm doing is I wanna have you lower down, really no more than roughly around 90 degrees at that elbow joint. If it feels really good, you can definitely come farther. If your shoulders feel real good, you may be able to come all the way down. And if it feels good, great, go for it. But if you got any little shoulder issues, best to stop roughly at 90 degrees, maybe a little further past. Again, press through the floor, arch in the back, lift through the chest, get the shoulder blades nice and flush on that bench. All right, moving on. So our unilateral or single leg exercise, we're gonna do a lunge. And again, I'm gonna use the TRX for this. It's a great tool especially to start off, to help you with your balance and stability. So, right, from this position right here, I want to start off with my elbows fairly close to my ribs and in a flex position, roughly around 90 degrees. From there, I'm gonna step back, lower my knee to the ground. Now, you may wanna put padding underneath here. You can use a pillow if you want, but underneath that knee, right, we're gonna lower down nice and smooth. Exhale, come up. Lower down nice and smooth. Exhale, come up. Again, if you use a cushion or a pillow, it'll A, protect your knee. The other thing we wanna watch for here is if you're going down, and your hips are shifting a lot, you want to avoid that as well. The way we do that is by allowing that knee to release forward as you send that hip back and down. Versus if we kind of do this, we're going to start to create some issues at the hip. So again, literally, you're practicing getting up and down off the floor, as silly as it sounds. And if you make that the objective, you'll find that your mechanics are a little bit more sound, as long as there's no issues at the hips or the knees. So again, little cushion under that pad, lower on down, little pause, exhale as you stand. Lower on down, little pause, exhale as you stand. Again, if we want to make this more challenging, just get rid of those straps. Lower on down, little pause, right? You can make fists if you want. If we want to make this even more challenging, we grab some dumbbells, and there's a couple of ways we can do this. We can hold to the side. Or we can hold it like we do with our squat. Now also notice, as I come up, I'm driving off this front foot. My left foot is actually lifted. My heel is lifted. What I don't want to do is go back. All right, that's the tendency sometimes. I want you to imagine literally as if you're about to get up off the floor and you're about to step forward and continue on your way. All right, I hope this is helpful. The last one we're going to do in this series is that TRX high row. And we did this together while you were here, right? Same thing, right? Hands at the chest height. You're going to extend, right? We're going to walk our feet forward to whatever feels right for you. And now instead of the shoulders going back and down, the elbows going in, I'm going to take those elbows out to the side. Still staying wide and lifting across the chest as I drive those elbows back. Right? Drive those elbows back. Let's see if I can get a better angle. Now again, the tendency is to either do this, right? Think about at that end position, the elbows and wrists are aligned. Right? I'm lifted through the sternum. Again, slight tuck in the pelvis, core's nice and engaged, and I'm pressing through the feet. All right, you guys. Again, I hope this is helpful. Like I said in our last video, right? Let's start off 8 to 10. 10 feels easy, take it to 12. 12 feels easy, take the weight or the variation up to 15. Once you hit 15, see if you can progress it in some way, right? And then just drop the repetitions back down, 8 to 10, and start stair-stepping your way back up. Again, the other thing that you can do is add another core exercise to this, right? You can't go wrong with some anterior core. Let that back pressure crunch. There's also things like planks and stuff like that. We didn't really dive into that because I don't want to give you too much, but we can at some point create some other variations as well. I hope this is helpful. Please don't hesitate to reach out. I'm going to also try to get you just a real basic stretch video to you as well. All right. Aloha, you guys. Hope you're well.